Good afternoon, everybody. I've just literally fired the kit up when I saw this coming out, this 737 to Lanzarote. So I'm not quite finished setting up yet, but if anyone can hear this in the chat, be grateful if you could tell me whether the sound's okay. Certainly not hanging around. But it is running a bit behind schedule, I understand. Certainly very hazy down the bottom, although it is a very nice sunny day. Not quite t-shirt weather, mind. Right, I'll just carry on setting up, folks, if you will indulge me. In fact, actually, I think this might be a flight that's deboarding, so let's just rest up here for a moment. Okay, I'm in the chat. So, first thing I see is that the moderating team on this channel are far better than the airport presenter. Alibi58, good afternoon to you, my friend. So yeah, I've just seen your message about the gas man. No worries. You're first in the classroom, that's no question. I'm about 31st by the look of it. Alexandra Wood, good afternoon to you, Alexandra. Thank you for joining us. Deborah Speller, good afternoon, Deborah. Hope Thursday's been kind to you. Political bias. Entirely agree, mate. It's gorgeous. It really presented a dilemma in terms of what to wear. Normally I come with more layers on than the Michelin man, but as you'll know, it's quite a nice day actually. So I've gone for in Formula 1 terms, you'd probably think of it as an intermediate setup, insofar as I have got a jacket on, but I've taken the lining out of it. So we'll see how we do. Nell W, and you're early as well. Oh, unbelievable, Nell. Unbeatable, truly an unbeatable mod team. Peter E, good afternoon, and thank you for confirming, Peter, on the sound. Alexandra thinks hers is a bit quiet. I'm just going to boost the sound a little bit, but you'll have to let me know, as I've still not got my hardware exchanged yet, because WEX have yet to offer me a date to do it. But let me just boost us a little bit. And Carl Shield, good afternoon to you. Okay, so I've just boosted up. I don't normally go much higher than this, but let's just see. The real test will probably come when the planes come, whether the sound causes things to top out a little bit. Nell reports her sound is fine, so again I've taken an intermediate view on this one, so hopefully we'll find the sweet spot. I think I've said before, it's quite difficult when you first start live broadcast, hearing your own voice slightly delayed in a headset, but without it, it's just discombobulating again. Oop. Oh, that was a bow shave. Alexander Elliott, good afternoon to you, Alexander. You think I know exactly where this was coming from, but I do not. I'd seen the Chewy 737 to Larnaca on its way out, and as I was still sort of only 70% through the setup, I just had a quick look to see what was imminent with flight radar rather than perhaps 10-15 minutes out. Anyway, there you go, 1 in 1 out, and we're still early. Now I'm taking it, it's a sign that you've had a good day today. Yeah, well listen, 45 minutes, well 35 minutes as it is now, Nell, that's all bonus time really. I hope that doesn't mean you've got a longer working day with a bit of time out in between times. As you'll see, it's quite hazy here, so we're quite lucky with the 07. We're operating 07 again with an northeasterly wind, because if we were coming in from 25, i.e. the far end, we'd probably be suffering a lot of haze. It's always one of the hazards when you're shooting straight down a runway. Michelle, good afternoon. Michelle Johnson, prepping your dinner and multitasking. Impressive. As we both know, or we all know, multitasking is probably not something I'm going to put on my CV as a particular strength area. And you're right, Nell, the weather is incredibly fine, as Political Bias was saying. I mean, it's warmer than the Met. I always do, as you know, a little weather report for the early part of the show, which we'll cut into in a minute. But the actual temperature was warmer than that when I pulled up. I got it at 16.5 degrees centigrade, which could well be, and I stand to be corrected, probably the warmest day we've had this year. And if I've forgotten a warmer one, it's because we haven't had many. So quite a few Jet2s moving around today. This one having recently returned from Ibiza. It might be sunny here, but I think they'll feel the difference. Hopefully you can hear the birds singing away as they often do. I had ummed and ahed about sunglasses for today, but I thought that might be just reaching a bit. Although I'd forgotten the fact that as I'm set up now, the sun is pretty much dead behind me, so everything electronic has got a bit of glare on it. So note to self, if in doubt, take the sunglasses. A bit like packing a raincoat, isn't it, or an umbrella. You might not need it, and you hope not to need it, but if you do, it's a bit of a boon. So I hope everybody's having a good week. Seems an ages since we last caught up. When did we last catch up? Oh, I know, Edinburgh on Saturday. Well, that does seem... is it Saturday? Yeah, I think it was. You think I'd know? Seems an age ago. Alexander Elliott, delighted you're enjoying it. That's the whole name of the game. Stephen Marchant, good afternoon to you, Stephen. Welcome to Plain Sailing Aviation, and thanks for confirming sounds good for you. Yeah, Michelle, we were tracking your phone, weren't we, on Saturday in terms of its charging rate. I think it was very similar to my tablet, you know, 1% gained every sort of 15 minutes or something. Raymond Hurst, good morning from California. Raymond, how are you doing, my friend? Bislandia, welcome back. Hope you've been having a good week, my friend. I'm just going to move the camera around a little bit for you all, just to, as you say, it's very Jet2y, the early phase of the show, but mixture of tail fins. Thank you, Alexandra, confirming Jet2 from Malta, estimated time of arrival 15:28, so all good. Oh, Raymond, you love the channel, we love having you, my friend, so we're in the right place, one and all. Actually, that's, seriously, that it gives me a real boost to read that, you know, down at the airport. So let's get into the show proper, shall we? Because I'm mindful that we're looking over my shoulder there. For regulars of the channel, you know I've got a metro line behind me. For anyone new, you'll hear that rumble periodically. But every now and again, when you hear the very first part of the rumble, you think there's a plane coming over your shoulder, because we're running reverse ops here. As I was saying earlier, the planes are coming over my shoulder, and as you'll have seen a short while ago, touching down right in front of us pretty much. Anyway, good afternoon, and as we were saying earlier, a very warm welcome from a very sunny Newcastle International Airport. For those who may not know me, I'm Mark, your host. We're going to be on air for till around 6 o'clock. We might finish a little bit earlier or a little bit later, depending on how the action cards play out. Those who were on the show last week will remember we went deep into added time because we had a returning TUI flight due to staff illness from Gran Canaria, if I remember correctly, so we ended up going long. But equally, if the action dries up a little bit before 6, we'll finish a bit earlier. Anyway, let's get straight to it. So in terms of, well, just making a note to myself. So the all-important weather forecast. You'll be unsurprised. Let's go to the tower. Gives you a better context, doesn't it? And you'll notice, as I was saying earlier, a little bit hazier down yonder, so that's the stress there, but you can see plenty of blue. Less than 5% chance of rain, so although I'm wearing a jacket without its lining, I'll be absolutely astounded if I get any. You never know. So as I was saying, I think the Met Office forecast was around 14 degrees, but when I pulled up on the car park, about 16.5. It's not t-shirt weather, but you could get by quite comfortably with just a fleece on, I think. What I do think is if the sun disappears, it will feel cooler very quickly, unsurprisingly. So the wind is an east-northeasterly, which brings reverse ops into play, which is handy. Get better sound, I think. Wind speeds, let's just illustrate wind speeds. As you know, I like the sock to go with the numbers. Where's my sock gone? Where's my sock gone? Here you go. So not a lot happening there, is there? Around 10 mile an hour, 8.7 knots. And gusts, not much different to that, 12 mile an hour, 10.5 knots or thereabouts. So wind is not going to be a feature for the show, except its direction requires reverse operations. 28 movements scheduled during the show, 12 arrivals and 15, that can't be right, 16, yeah, we said it doesn't add up, and 16 departures, my handwriting. So yeah, 28 movements, lock, stock and barrel, plus any that we picked up like that delayed TUI flight. British Airways, KLM, Air France, Loganair, Aer Lingus, Ryanair, easyJet, TUI, Jet2 and Eastern, all airlines featuring in today's show. And in terms of types, we've got the 737, the A319 A320. Those are like their turboprops and got their fingers ready on their emojis. We have the Aer Lingus ATR 72-600. We've got a couple of variants of the Embraer, the 145 with Loganair and the 190 standard with Air France, and the British Aerospace Jetstream 41 in the hands of Eastern Airlines. So we've got a nice little mix. Obviously a regional airport. This is, as folks will know, this is no Heathrow. It's, you know, it's a lot more modest in size and scope, but it's a lovely setting and you get a nice range of stuff. Sam Thurlaway, hello my friend. Jet2 flight from Malta coming in over your house right now. Roger that, my friend. I'm sure that was due in for around 3:30, so might be running a little bit ahead. All to the good. Thanks for the heads up, buddy. With having to look through the hedge, it's always helpful to have a little bit more of a bit of a warning. Bruce, good afternoon to you. And I'm with you, Stephen Marchant. I am desperately hoping we get one of these new Airbus 321 Neos based here, or if not based here, rotated through here periodically. It would definitely freshen the mix up, and you kind of figure strategically, I'm thinking Jet2 probably have that in their line of sight as they take the older generation planes out of service. Fingers crossed. Federal PL, good morning. So I'm thinking you're going to be west of us, Federal PL. So what part of the world are you joining us from, my friend? Les Donaldson. Quick visit. It's never the same, Les, without you. So you're just going to pick your son up from work. Excellent. Hopefully he's getting an early finish. And good afternoon, Paul Usher. Whereas Les, my and ah moment with Eddie was whether to go and mow his lawns for him. Now I'm retired and seem to have a bit more time in my pocket. Oh dear me, right, let's have a quick look. Let's see where our Maltese 737 might be. Just bearing down on Consett, I see, so not long past Sam's house. Flight radar says 6 minutes, we'll call that 8 minutes. Yeah, somewhere around 15:28, I think, for that would be a decent quote. There's a Cessna Citation at the far end of, I think it's, no, it's past us, I'm behind. Oh, blow me. I was wondering if I could get it at distance, but I probably won't do because of the hazing. Just going to rest us there 2 nanoseconds. Check me out with the nanoseconds. So Alibi, is that a breakdown or a routine service for your boiler? Peter E confirming that 737 from Malta is bearing down on us, just passed over Peter E's house. Oh, Stephen Marchant, you finished here to watch this. I am absolutely honoured, my friend. Deadly serious. Hopefully we can repay your faith. The whole thing about plane spotting is it's meant to augment your relaxation and unwinding. Life's busy enough, isn't it? Let's be quite honest about it. And just be able to watch a few planes, have some convivial company. And when I say convivial, I'm talking about everybody in the chat rather than yours truly. Tony McCall, good afternoon, Tony. Hope things are shipshape with you. Good at this end, my friend. Just keeping an eye out for this incoming Jet2, which I think will be turning very quickly. So we figured around 28 movements on the show, plus any that we gain. So mainly weighted towards departures, which will be good because for anyone that's just joined us, with reverse ops, they are basically going to pull straight out in front of us here, and we'll get all the start-up sound as they then whiz off down that away. Oops, gone too far down that way. That away. It's the glare, that's my story. And then pointing that way, if they kept going that way straight enough, you'll be in the North Sea. Although they generally get their turn in before they get to the coast. Stephen, that's what I used to think, particularly when, thank God for Flexi, particularly when Eddie, my son, was at school. I think whoever invented Flexi was definitely on the side of the workers. If you're trying to juggle family in any way, shape or form, it's a boon. But even if you're not tied to running around after your kids, the ability to be flexible in all things in life, I think is pretty good. Whereas in the olden days, you're kind of faced with, if you want to do something enough, you either try and sneak a flyer or you end up taking the day off, don't you? I'll not say about invoking sickies. Yeah, so Les, so I gather with the Wookiee, so that was quite a handy catch for us, wasn't it? The 220. I'm imagining now that will be a regular, because of these is your tip off, wasn't it, Les? That Delta Airlines have started their Boston route up now from EDI. So in fact, let's talk about EDI while we're waiting for our Maltese plane to come hurtling into view. Well, Maltese, our Jet2 flight from Malta, which is currently overheading on the wall. So next show from us, we're looking to do something here Saturday if we get the right concentration of movements and can make a decent show out of it. But if that doesn't come off, the next show will be Edinburgh on Monday morning, and then we will be off to Aberdeen for a tea time show, folks. I'll put it all in the community post, but we'll be at Aberdeen from 3 o'clock till around 7 o'clock in the evening. So yeah, very much a tea time show. So yeah, much to look forward to. It's just I'm not quite sure how Saturday's going to play until we get to see the listings on Flight Radar. Paul Usher, I'm pretty shipshape, mate. It's been a really good week for all kinds of reasons. None of them sort of like life, you know, massive, not, I don't know, winning proverbial lottery or even finding a £20 note fluttering down the street. It's just been lots of things I've enjoyed doing. I mean, at the most prosaic, I was down my allotment this morning putting my strawberries in, and I really enjoyed that. You know, I'm just lots of little good things. And if I'm honest, it's probably the weather. I mean, the weather's been pretty shaky around here the last couple of days. Bit of sunshine, a lot of rain, very, very unsettled. But you know, today has just felt like spring might have properly started. Anyway, I hope all's good with you, Paul. Nell, I'm glad you like it. We're bound to get some turbo action in there. Can I hear a plane in the background? I feel I should be hearing a plane in the background. No, it's a train, but the plane ain't far behind. TCC. Oh, you're at the dentist, TCC. I hope that's a routine checkup and not for anything else, although if you're there for something else, you probably want to be there as well, don't you? I mean, nobody wants the proverbial filling or tooth out, but equally, you can't beat it, can you, at the end of the day? I've sat on a car park outside the dentist some years back, about an hour before they opened, because I'd not slept all weekend. Such was the pain. So I always have sympathy for anybody that's at the unfortunate end of things. There we go. I'm just going to peel us away now to our incoming Jet2. So anybody new to this and the perspective here, as you see, we get them coming in pretty quickly over my shoulder, and I often use the analogy with clay pigeon shooting or something, sort of coming from behind you or level with you or whatever. And whereas they're all coming down on the same kind of line, sometimes they come through a little bit flatter or a little bit higher, as you might expect. Anyway, looks like he's rolling out long. Let's rest the camera if that's the case. As I was saying a few minutes ago, there's not the wind levels here. You might hear a bit of gust that's just blowing at the minute, but it's not that windy. Doris Petsus, good afternoon, my friend. Alexandra, yes, I think it's one of those ones going back to the Aberdeen, your comment on Aberdeen. So what I've done is I've looked to see which day of the week was offering the optimal for a tea time type show, because the journey involved is fairly lengthy. Hence me doing an Edinburgh one in the morning on the way up. but it's the helicopter action which will make a nice change of pace. I think you just have to take what you get to an extent. I know there's certain days of the week that might be a bit busier on choppers, but potentially less busy on aircraft. And as you know by now, if I can try and get us our cake to eat it, I will do. Anyway, we'll see. First time there and all that. Alright Stephen, you've put some track time here then. You see, this is all quite new to me. I'm a East Midlands lad, so I've seen a lot of change over the years at East Midlands Airport, but this is, I mean, we only moved up to the northeast, what, 2013 or something in that region? Yeah, 2013, so 10 years actually. Although I understand with the plans they've got for this place, which if they activated them, sorry about the horticulture that's in front, I'm just going to move us the other side in anticipation. So they do have potential plans which could see the runway here extended by another 700 metres, should they want, and that would be, as I've said on previous shows, that away. There's a road directly behind that hedge though, so that would take an awful lot of usual planning permission and due diligence, that malarkey. However, progress is progress. But I think that's their 2035 plan, so I think by then I'll be watching at home rather than here filming. Best case scenario. TCC. Yeah, this was your dentist will appreciate that. But is that what they say, Dutch courage, or was that just not just a lunchtime snifter? Oh dearie me. I'm fretting on your behalf, TCC. I'm just thinking, not a big fan of the dentists, but as I was saying earlier, they're kind of trips you can't avoid, are they? And bearing in mind there's parts of the country which are quite difficult to actually get a dentist, but I'll stay away from the politics because obviously we don't want to get into that space. Sam Thurlaway confirming that the Chewy 737 from Lanzarote is near Durham. So what did we met that? About 15 minutes away, thereabouts. Cheers, Sam. We've got warning beacons on the way in, haven't we now? They pass your house and Peter E's house. If I remember correctly, isn't TCC, aren't you, if you weren't at the dentist, aren't you on the flight path as well? Although that might be the other side for westerlies, I can't remember. Oh, what have you got, Michelle? Salad, jacket, spud. Sorry if I'm not concentrating on the plane, I'm concentrating on Michelle's tea menu. What's she got? Jacket, spuds. Been up since 5:30. Tracking your favourite cargo jet on flight radar 24 from East Mids to Jersey. So I'm thinking that's got to be West Atlantic. This feels like a fairly leisurely taxi in, doesn't it, folks? As it takes its spot. Although it's, I thought it was going into the foreground there, that would have been helpful because we could have at least watched some D-board. Simon Kirby, good afternoon to you, my friend. How you doing, Simon? I was just musing on the latest in our football drama, considering that I think you guys have pretty much done enough and we ain't. Oh dear. So Alexandra Wood confirms departure Jet2 to Tenerife, estimated 1540, Jet2 to Dalaman, estimated 1549, and a hat trick of Jet2s. We have Gran Canaria 1555. So I think we're going to have a fair degree of churnover here, aren't we? Because a quick count up says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Jet2s I can see, possibly a 6th one. Paul Usher. No, Ken's got visitors over from Canada, so he's very much hosting today. So I don't think they've seen each other in person for a number of years, so they'll be seeing all kinds of things, no doubt. Plenty of good stuff to see in Scotland. But yeah, it does feel strange, doesn't it? Yeah, I think, but you know what, successful avoidance of relegation does avoid being on the winning side of a touch and go situation, doesn't it, rather than finding a way of being beaten in the same situation. When we did it, Leicester City, for those who don't know my passion in football, in the Great Escape season, it was exactly that. Somehow, even when we went behind, you knew a goal was coming. Now, if we go behind, we're going to get beat. So let's go to our Newcastle Lanzarote flight. Just looking around what's in and what's out. So Jet2, clearing the decks a little bit. Michelle, what are you like? God, love flight radar, you know. I think I said on the previous stream, when I was still working, come lunchtime, one or two things might go. I'd either, if there's a stream on, I might watch the stream, but I often used to just put flight radar on and just enjoy watching the planes coming in, often at Heathrow actually, oddly enough, but not exclusively. That's why I made the comment really at the top end of the stream about how relaxing plane spotting really is. I mean, it's not always relaxing down at the airport when your tech's playing up or the weather turns on you, but if you strip all of that out of it, it's great. And of course, the whole point of being able to share this with you all is hopefully you're able to use this to relax with the tome, or at work, or on the train, the bus, whatever. Ah dear. Les Donaldson, till the next time, my friend. If your lad's anything like Eddie, you don't want to be late. Seeing if I can entice a wave unsuccessfully. So let's go longer. Cue drum roll, cue action. So as always folks, if you like what you see, please do hit that like button, give us that support, and if you're not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing. Both things don't cost you anything and help us massively with YouTube. With their fabled and dreaded, or maybe it's not dreaded in some of the bigger boys' quarters, but their algorithm, it affects how we're promoted. So support, warmly appreciated. If you do enjoy what we do, we've also got memberships available on the channel, but I don't do hard sell on that. Just remind people you can find that on our YouTube about page for the channel, Plain Sailing Aviation. And also beneath the chat there's like a $sign somewhere towards the left hand side. If you click on that, it doesn't obligate you to anything, it just tells you we've got 2 tiers of membership, aviator class and executive lounge. Both, well, you make your own minds up. You can't fault the metro service, can you? If only buses ran like this. And that's trying to pick its way through the traffic to gas up the incoming multiplane. Alexandra Wood, thank you for keeping me straight. Chewy 737 from Lanzarote, 5 minutes out, standing by. So folks, that's our next action. So looking at Sam Thurloway's message, British Airways flight from London at Leeds, and that's, bearing in mind it will have moved up the track a bit. I realise I'm late on to Sam's message. So incoming Lanzarote flight, 5 minutes out. Good stuff. On finals now. Right, I better get myself ready, haven't I, for when it swoops over the hedge. Yeah, I've got it now. Just passing Hexham, bearing down on Prudhoe and heading on the Wall, which I think is actually what it flies, overflies. So that departed Lanzarote 3 hours and 51 minutes ago. So I guess folks want to stretch their legs as they start to try and remember where they parked the car. Let's have a look. Peter asks about an ambulance behind the tanker. I might be missing something in the glare, but I can't see Peter. Sam says there's a C-130 not far away. Now we have a shot at that, although it's so hazy at distance I'm not sure I'd get a clean shot. Although hang on a minute, I've just seen, you might have seen it in the background, and it might be pursuant to Peter's question. There's a fire engine that's come out the back with a van, support van, pursuing it. I don't think there's anything other than drill practice going on here, folks. Looks like it's going back to the ranch. Cos, for those who don't know the airport, that's where it is. The fire station. Right, I'm just going to bring the camera back round just to get ready. There's a Jet2 that's just turned on the far side. I'm not eyes on the chat at the minute, so oh right, there's a good queue there, isn't there? Let's get ready for our incoming Chewy 737 from Lanzarote. Alright, thanks Nell, so I'd not clocked that one. So whether they parked the truck there, well I can't think they'd be blocking it to mark me off. Who knows? To be fair, if it was I wouldn't have kept the camera on it anyway. So the Jet2 to Dalaman, that's the one I can see, thanks Alexandra, that has turned. So let's just give us a bit of a Jaws moment. There you go. Crikey, somebody sounds excited. Moment now where I'm thinking, when do I peel the camera off? I ought to be able to see the incoming Chewy plane, but I jolly well can't. So, good afternoon to anyone that's just joined us. Plain Sailing Aviation. I'm Mark, your host, on air till 6. Just about to pull away to cover an incoming Lanzarote Chewy 737. Departed just under 4 hours ago. We're running reverse ops at the minute, so the planes aren't visible till the very last minute. You can probably hear the sound of the engine picking up. Chewy always looks nice in the sunlight, doesn't it? Oh dear, it's very hazy at the back, isn't it? Oh, I'm just going to take us out a little bit. You'll appreciate I can't do an awful lot with the haze. It's the nice thing about a sunny day. Although a decent position halfway down the runway, like we have at Edinburgh, would oh, the Dalaman Jet2 is moving. Nell W, thanks for joining us. It's amazing you were able to join us at all, so thank you so much, Nell. Hope the rest of the working day passes without fuss. And we will see you later. 1.5 hours yet. We've planned to be on air, barring any kind of technical foible. Alright, Michelle, you've got big black clouds in Essex. Well, I think we've had our share. It's tipped it down here the last couple of days. I'm trying to mow the lawn today, but ground's too soft. Something for tomorrow. Sam Thirlaway, British Airways flight from London, 10 out. Thanks, Sam. Nicola Carter, good afternoon, Nicola. Hope Thursday's been kind to you and you've had a good week. You're looking at a Boeing 737 to Dalaman, I understand. Yeah, Michelle, I think it's because I'm thinking about the position that Speedbird have. It's not dissimilar to this, is it? The shooting down the runway. It's nice to be able to mix the angles up, to be honest with you. For those who've watched us at Edinburgh, for example, you know we're side on with that left to right stuff which I enjoy doing. But mixing the angles up keeps it fresh. Michelle, the trouble is this time of year, it grows like mad, don't it? It grows like Topsy, I think the saying is. Uh-oh, I thought I could hear something behind me. First tiddler of the show. Might be the only tiddler of the show. I think it was Michelle talking about lawnmowers. Right. Tower has given permission for our Dalaman plane to line up. Thanks, Alibi. Those likes and subscriptions really do help us massively. Like I say, don't cost you anything. So it is one of those things that is a virtuous circle, really. Oh, best man and daughters now away. Hello to all in the chat. All right, so hopefully you didn't get too tough a time with the gas man. The tiddler is turned off, so this should be turn and go. Found a sunny patch there. With that dip, it's almost like they're launching off it, isn't it? Okay, planet Earth it is. Let's see if this other Jet2 is in any advanced state of board. Stairwell looks pretty free, so that's a good sign. Alexandra, yes, it's there's a constant demand for flights to NA. Alexander Elliott, yeah, nowhere and anywhere. I think you're right. I think Loganair have a large presence there as well. Oh, hang on, we've got some motion, folks. Let's have a bit of this. Bit of pushing back. I'll stand by on this one because we've got a British Airways A319 about to turn in on finals. But well, there's the thing. There's Eastern, they must be early. I'd like to say this is the Aberdeen flight, but so next in, because we don't always see the transponders with these, do we? Want to see dip down to 3,000 feet or whatever it is. Will be British Airways. Yeah, sorry Alexandra, I've just seen your message. You caught me out of that one with flight radar. I just dragged my eye across it trying to work out when I needed to start fretting about the incoming British Airways plane. Didn't see this. Oh, Michelle's giving some turboprop emojis, a good old outing. Yeah, Nicola Carter, I understood actually, I think it was Michelle was saying there's been some YouTube issues today. I'm rather hoping they leave me alone. I can usually be relied on to find some kind of gremlin of my own. Yeah, I'm standing by Alexandra. That BA will be, I will pull away to it imminently. Let's just inch up a little bit. Okay, what we got? So this one off to Tenerife, very nice. Something in the region of a 4-hour flight, and I'm pretty sure 70 plus centigrade temperature, so what's not to like. British Airways look about 3 minutes out, 1 minute on flight radar plus the extra 2 I add on. Not an exact science, but so there are 2 movements, folks. British Airways will undoubtedly come in first, and then this Tenerife Jet2 will get the nod. Just having a quick look around, check I'm not missing anything in the peripheral view of the airfield. We get the occasional helicopter and light aircraft, as we saw the light aircraft earlier on. Was that Cessna something or other? Thank you, Alexandra, confirming Ryanair's flight from Dublin delayed and now estimated 16:30. The good news is it's going to fall within the window of the show, so that's the main thing. I'm just going to take a little bit of this taxiing Jetstream 41, but we'll pull away as soon as we get the sensation that British Airways are bearing down behind me. Right, here we go, folks. Journey of generally about an hour for this one, sometimes as little as 50 minutes depending on air traffic and the pilot's appetite for speed, wind direction, etc. See some movement over here, and there we are. All those excited people looking forward to being in Tenerife. Glasgow Aviation, good afternoon to you, my friend. We may be in your world, part of the world, on Tuesday. So I was saying earlier on in the stream, we're not sure whether we're streaming from Newcastle on Saturday yet. We're going to wait and see what flight radar offers up, but we do know we're going to be streaming Monday morning from Edinburgh and doing a tea time stream from Aberdeen 3 till 7 on Monday. And then Tuesday the plan is one of 2 things. Plan A is Glasgow on the way back, but that will depend on whether there's enough traffic density at the point I arrive, or alternatively we'll come back to Edinburgh. But Glasgow is plan A for the return journey. Rainer, good afternoon, buddy. Hope all is good in Berlin. I'm seeing some sunshine and I'm seeing a couple of cold ones, so I'm thinking it can't be that bad. That's interesting, Glasgow Aviation. Hainan Airlines returning to Edinburgh in June. June's taking shape quite nicely, isn't it? Because I understand Air Canada return in June. Got a hunch that WestJet are back by then. And I can just see the Jet2 flight for Gran Canaria has also turned, so we'll cut to that in a minute once we've got the Tenerife plane in the sky. Forbes, good afternoon, mate. How's tricks? Hope all is good. You was watching a Jet2 737 bound for Tenerife, my friend. Inda, good afternoon. Inda Samar JD. Inda, welcome to Plain Sailing Aviation. Your host on air till around 6 o'clock, giving you the tea time action from Newcastle International Airport. And away we go. So, who's next then? Gran Canaria. Ah, Michelle's checking the oven. Is that those jacket spuds you've got in, Michelle? Don't forget them. Inda's in from Indonesia. Nice one. You may be our furthest away viewer in today's show, Inda. I'm not 100% certain. If anyone knows different, Mark loves to know where folks are from. Ryanair, I think Berlin needs to start marketing itself as a sunshine destination. I think you'd have to take that, wouldn't you, Sunday? 21 degrees and sunny. I don't think we've hit 21 degrees all year yet in northeast England. Jonas, good afternoon Jonas, welcome to Plain Sailing Aviation. I'm Mark, your host. Oh, let's just have a quick cut onto this returning baby bus. Wasn't worth trying to track it further out, a bit hazy. So that's Thursday, certainly in the UK nearly put to bed. Obviously friends on the chat and in the lounge, maybe a bit behind where we are in the day, could still be the morning. But either way, we're much nearer to the weekend than we were. Ooh. Anybody in the chat flying anywhere nice in the next few days? Hot and sunny, work? Tell us about your flying experience. Ryanair, I'm going to say that sunshine's a mega positive. I was saying earlier in the chat, I think it was Paul Usher was asking what kind of day I've been having in a week, and it's been really good, but not for any one big thing. But I think I'm probably heavily influenced by the fact that today's been a proper sunny one here, really. Not as warm as Berlin, but, you know, spring, a proper spring day. Alexandra Wood, thank you very much, Alexandra. I am standing by on the Air France Embraer 190 standard that is a small number of minutes out. Glasgow Aviation, I can tell you there's at least one off the top of my head. Aegean, I believe, start at Newcastle in June. Can't remember if Sun Express are also starting here in the summer. I don't think they're yet. Oh no, they are. They're already active. Sorry, I mislead you. But Aegean are starting here in June. Hopefully we'll bring you that one live as a debut event if there's enough action to build around it. Crikey, Michelle's got thunder down in Essex. You did say the clouds were dark, Michelle. So we're going to peel away from this any second, folks, as soon as that Air France Embraer hot Beatles interview. Oh, that's an interesting one. I mean, you know, my skills at pronunciation are poor. This one is off to a place called Izmit. Well, I'm going to say Izmit. Izmit, but the more cultured amongst you will probably say it in a more accurate way. Izmit. If I had to gamble where that is, I'd have to say Turkey, but I'm often wrong. Oh dear. Thank you for putting up with me, folks. Stephen Marchant not flying until September and then January to Tenerife. Well, do you know what? That sounds like a great bit of topping up with the old sunshine. My next trip on a plane, we'll announce it shortly publicly. We've got another away day trip coming up before month end, but still negotiating with Mrs. Plain Sailing Aviation as to what holiday plans for this year look like. Well, here's our moment. And that's my favourite Air France hot livery. Incoming from Paris Charles de Gaulle. And now the departing Jet2 from Izmit. To an inch forward. There we go. Inns Park, good afternoon to you. Welcome to Plain Sailing Aviation. I don't think we've said hi before. Could be my faltering memory. I'm Mark, your host. Going to be on air till about 6 o'clock UK time this evening. That noise you can hear is just some sort of motorbike, but I thought, is it some kind of light aircraft? I mean, the fact this is lining up would tell you it can't be the latter, but your first intuition is what the blazes. All right, Alibi, cheerfully noted, mate. I'll try and line up on that one. Hainan Airlines. We're pretty regular at Edinburgh anyway. thought I'd get a little bit of aviation aroma with the windsock being the way it is, but God's honest truth, I've neither smelt Jet A1 nor rubber off the tyres. I can live without the smell of the rubber. It's not very Moorish, is it? Right. A bit of the old aviation spirit definitely cheers the soul. Just going to rest us there for a moment, folks. Alexandra confirms our delayed Ryanair 21 minutes out. Okay, I'm standing by. Simon Kirby, incorrigible as ever, with his good friend Charlie de Gaulle. Oh dear. I was kind of relieved that we hadn't got a Lufthansa plane in the show, because, you know, I think Frankfurt, he's due a day or two off, really. Although if Eddie had been co-presenting with me, I would have quite liked to have fed that one back in just to see what comes out. He's already been lured in with Geneva. But yeah, I think that's a lovely... You know, we often talk about British Airways being one of those timeless classics, always looks good. I just think Air France... that looks pretty good to me. Yet to fly with them, but I've seen one or two accounts where people have been really very positive about them, so David Palfreyman, good afternoon David, hope you are well. That dip, Doris, with the runway, looking at your comment, it's almost like a launch dip, isn't it, when they're running this way? Yeah, I'm with you, Michelle. I can live without the burnt. The burnt rubber's more for the authenticity of it all. It's not Moorish, is it? But yeah, the smell of aviation spirit. It's a bit like when you're boarding a plane, isn't it? And you walk out from the terminal and you just catch it on the breeze. One of those moments, a bit like I think someone was saying on a show a couple of shows back, when you come off the plane and they open the door and you feel that warm air wafting and you know you're on holiday. So having a quick look around, I'm not seeing anything moving that's outward. We've obviously hit one of those pesky pauses which can be a hazard. But not that pesky, I think. I'm sure something will turn up. And there we go, Alexandra Wood. Alexandra, you must be a magician in your spare time. I'm thinking, oh cripes, we've hit a dry moment. And you tell us that we have an Aer Lingus ATR 72-600 inbound. So that is quite excellent, from Belfast as well. So all to the good. That will be with us fairly soon. Yeah, it's funny you say that, Simon, because we do want to get down to Heathrow before summer proper. So we're just in the process of tying up some loose ends, and if we can do it in the way that makes most sense for us, ideal world, we'll be back at Heathrow in June. That is the plan. Because I'd definitely like to do Heathrow again, and I'd definitely like to do London City again as well. So there's a couple of good reasons to be migrating south. But yeah, I think you're probably going to put us to the test at Heathrow, aren't you? Oh man, it's probably going to be a question of keeping the score down rather than stopping you from scoring. Oh sorry, Glasgow Aviation, I'm just going back through the chat, I'd missed your comment. No, I think it's summer season only, mate. Not thinking it'll be anything more than that. Summer season only. So I'd imagine by the time we top out back end of September, I think that'll be it for us. Sorry, a bit slow on that one. I mean, I do love the Aegean livery. We do get to see that one at Edinburgh when we stream from there. It usually features in the show. Just going to rotate the camera a little bit, folks, as we await our Aer Lingus Belfast flight. The reassuring sounds of a local metro train rumbling away in the background. So that'll be our British Airways return flight to Heathrow, an A319. So let's have a look. Alexandra confirms nothing pinging for departure. So the next game in town, it's all about Aer Lingus, who are, I think, about 7-8 minutes out, approaching Hexham. Just catching back with the chat. So Peter, sorry, is this the British Airways flight you're talking about, or was that a different plane that I've moved on from? Sorry mate, I'm a bit slow on your comment, because I know you were off on your summer holes, weren't you? I'd like to say Benidorm, but or Easter holes more accurately. And we're to heightened state of readiness, Alexandra. Heightened state of readiness for our incoming Aer Lingus flight. For me, I mean, we need to get sorted out with some behind the scenes feed on this. It generally involves hopping around like a cat on a hot tin roof. It's such a gorgeous day here, it's just untrue. Yeah, I have to say, lucky people, you're right. Doris, high hopes one and all, no doubt. I'm thinking, right, and if there's any pilots in the chat, I'm thinking not. Certainly we don't get the 380 here, Glasgow Aviation. The runway here is something like 2,334 metres, so my understanding is that is too short for a 380, although I'm sure those who fly the bigger planes know what they could get down if they had to get down, but in terms of regular motion I think it'd be too short. Certainly we don't, with regrets, we don't get the 380. The 777 in the shape of the Emirates 777 is our biggest heavy, although we do get the Chewy Dreamliner through here as well, fairly regular, to Cancun and Melbourne, Florida, if I remember correctly. Stephen's weighed in with that one. So yeah, Command is a 747 and Concorde, which I'm guessing, I'll defer to Stephen and those in the chat who are more learned, have both put the wheels down here in times gone past. I mean, it would be really, really lovely. I mean, it's the interesting thing about Glasgow, isn't it? I mean, I've done one or two streams now, 2 streams from Glasgow, and seeing the second one only had the 380 in the second of those 2, but it just felt so special. I know, like your bigger airports, your Gatwicks, Heathrows, Manchester, see these on a daily basis, but there's something particularly nice about seeing such a big plane. In no disrespect to Glasgow, it's essentially a regional airport, isn't it? A large regional airport, but it's not big in the bigger scheme of big. But the setting is fantastic. Les is back, taxi done. Did you get a tip, Les? just waiting to peel the camera off for our incoming ATR folks. So action imminent. Yeah, Glasgow, I'm just looking at that one. Yeah, there is some talk about Saudi coming here, obviously with their association with the club, but that hasn't crystallised into anything yet, neat as that would be. By jingo, that would be neat. Ah, so Les, you've got your cake and eat it then, haven't you? You're able to watch the live action. In terms of in the flesh and via your phone or your whatever device you are looking at. I'm just rotate the camera. I won't stay long. I think this is the Palma flight, Palma Mallorca. Just pushing back. Aer Lingus pretty imminent, so I'm going to be ready to swivel. I know that didn't sound right. Yeah, you're right, Stephen Marchant. The TUI Dreamliner going to Cape Verde for the first time. Although sadly we're going to be in the colder climes, but we hope to be able to catch that. It's not really winter proper, is it, November? So yeah, that's our Palma departure, you can see there. Just pushing back at the minute. I've got to be honest, Simon Kirby, I'm enjoying the heat haze conditions too. It's not quite so nice up here tomorrow. I don't think it's going to rain or anything. I think it's just going to be an overcast day. You might go out walking or something. Saturday looks like it could be quite bright. So as we were saying earlier, although we're not definite yet on streaming Saturday, if we can find a decent concentration of movements, we will definitely do a stream of some sort. We just don't want too many gaps, obviously. Next official action being Edinburgh on Monday. Right, let's get our ATR. So, give those emojis a twirl. Those of you who feel so inclined. Pretty short flight from Belfast. Assume this is the slot that used to be operated by Flybe before they went into administration. So it's nice we get a couple of Aer Lingus routes, Dublin being the other one. Although I don't think we see the Dublin arrival during the show. Plenty of emoji action. Alexandra, Ryanair. Who else is emojiing? I'm behind as always. Well, Ryanair and Alexandra have given plenty of twirling to the turboprops. Oh, cripes. Keep up, Mark, is the clear message. My plane's getting away from me. There we go. Yeah, the Jolly Green Giants lawnmower. Going to bring her out a little bit because that is chasing it through the haze. Yeah, Stephen Marchant, I really think that it's not a criticism of Newcastle per se. I think it's a thing for all airports, and I know they've got the RVP at Manchester, but I think it should be possible to manage spectator enjoyment of aviation and of course enhance waving off by family and friends in the same way that is pretty common in most of Western Europe from what I can see. And if people are most bothered about security, I think generally speaking, whether it's people like myself live streaming or the photographer community or just people who want to come and watch planes with their kids or on their own, extra eyes and ears around the perimeter of the airport. It's no bad thing, is it? That's my hobby horse issue anyway. I think we'll stay with this a tad longer and then pull away to the Jet2 Palmer flight. Yeah, those of us a certain vintage remember the Queen Elizabeth building at Heathrow Airport. It used to be open many years back, it seems now. I used to do a lot of spotting from my grandparents' back garden, who lived not far from Myrtle Avenue. But I used to love going to the airport as well for a bit of a rooftop type view. Right, there we go. I thought we might get the potato. We're just about halfway through this show already. Where is the time going? Oh, Ryanair, I've just seen your post, mate. Sorry to hear that. Doubling down on Alibi's comments. That sounds rough, mate. I'm just going further back up in the chat. Michelle's had, sounds like, hailstones like oranges, proverbial of course. We definitely don't want any hailstones. But yeah, you're in my thoughts, Ryanair. I'm assuming this gets to go before the incoming Dublin flight, Ryanair. I think it's Dublin. Oh, as well, just Alexandra Wood confirming KLM are 10 minutes out from Amsterdam, probably a little bit less now I'm checking the message. Oh, so we've got a couple of arrivals, folks, imminent as well as this departure, so we're ticking along nicely. If you do enjoy what you are seeing and you've not yet hit the like button, please can you consider hitting the like button, and if you're not yet subscribed, consider subscribing. Neither cost you anything but help us massively. So the plane you are looking at is off to Palma, Mallorca. Sangria time tonight, I'm thinking. Quite a lot of clanking you probably heard in the foreground. Another load of reprovisioning trucks. Okay. So Ryanair cannot be far away now. I bet he does, Simon. I bet he does. be fair, so does the pilot of this camera. Yeah, that is. I'm glad you're enjoying the sound, mate. Oh, looks like Eastern. I think this will have to hold, but we'll stay with it. I'm guessing we've got the transponder not working for us. I'm going to pull away in a second, folks, because Ryanair are literally seconds away. They turn these ones around pretty quickly, these Jetstream 41s. Aberdeen, which is where we'll be streaming from on Monday tea time. Although I'll not be flying. That would have been a neat twist, wouldn't it, if I'd actually flown up with Eastern. I'm assuming they're fairly pricey businessman type seats. So if I remember correctly, this Ryanair in come a little bit later than scheduled. I think we said Dublin. Taking a bit of turboprop action. Oh dear, that emoji's got plenty of twirling in the chat. It'll be enough to get us off the deck. Good stuff. So folks, a little bit wobbly on the camera as I was looking into the chat. Ryanair, I've got to be honest, Mrs. Plain Sailing Aviation hasn't managed to give me that kind of credit. I'm generally the source of headaches, but no, anything that we can do, mate, to ease your feeling better, take your mind off and all that. Right, I suppose I'd better get back to Earth, line us up, have a quick look-see at the chat. Pegas, thank you so much, my friend. You do really, because you just don't get to see much. You're reliant on what you see on flight radar, and then you're trying to work out which bush to pick up against. It's great fun though. It's I'm not just saying it because it's my local airport. I love reverse ops here. I love the sounds on takeoff, and it's nice to be able to be relatively close, or much closer than we would normally be, to wheels down. Right, here we go. Assuming this is KLM. What a beauty. I mean, we've got no standout heavy action or anything in the show, so unless we gain something exceptional, who knows. But KLM for me is always going to feature as a plane of the day contender. No question. Let's just track back with our Ryanair. Aviation Adam, hello my friend. Well, just lost my bearings and got them back again. Ali by Alexandra, either of you, how are we doing on likes? As you know, I'm stuck. What am I stuck on today? 13 today. I don't think I've had a 13 before. Just wondering how we're doing. Hopefully folks are enjoying what they see. I've got this tablet which does everything else that I like, but for some reason its browser doesn't seem to keep refreshed properly with likes and so forth. We get close enough to see the countdown board. Might be a struggle to get a clean sight on it. No, it's not going to play, is it? You know, Les is quite right. Scream if you want to go faster. Indeed. Let's see. Let's see how we're going to do. 15 mile an hour, remember folks? Now I'm already going to say that is the fastest taxiing plane I've seen on this show. Well earned cup of tea or coffee, depending on which way the pilot figures it. El Rapido. Rainer, I've just spotted your super chat, buddy. You are so kind, so generous, and a great friend to the show. All of those things, buddy. Thank you so much for your very kind super chat. That is really kind and generous of you, buddy. Thank you so much. Of course, if I lose sight of this super speedy KLM, I'll have Les all over me. That's brisk, isn't it? I think brisk. Just what you want, isn't it, when you're sitting there waiting to get off the plane? Yeah, thanks, Rana. I think we get to see that go out. I have this notion in the back of my head it's a 5:30 departure. Ooh, can I hear a light aircraft? I can. Sorry, I wasn't quite on that. Quite sure I made that. It was I don't think, is it a gob tutor, or did I not see enough of that for it to be a grob? I asked myself. Let's see what side on view does for us. Yeah, it's got a nice dash of red on the nose, hasn't it? Red Nose Day and all that. Although I don't think Red Nose Day is usually associated with May. that a heart-shaped red front? It's a bit hazy, isn't it? I don't know if that looks like it's a red heart on the front, or just that the optics are corrupted by the heat and it's just a red circle. Blooming heck, I'm losing a grip on more ways than one. Alright, let's just see what we think it is. I don't think it's a tutor, so I think I was wrong with that one. That's the first thing I can say. I don't think I'm going to give you a clean enough shot there for a plate, am I? Hey ho! 3 more for 100. Nearly got the 100 up on the likes. That is absolutely excellent. You are a super generous crowd. Thank you so much. Les has got the emoji twirling for props. That's definitely proved a bit of a winner, and I know Eddie's got plans to put a consultation out through members around further emojis, so we'll stand by on that one. I think that might be an executive lounge perk. I stand to be corrected. Eddie always puts me straight with this stuff. Either which way, we'll put something out, because we are naturally wanting to, as soon as we can add more emojis, we will. So I always say we're a viewer-led channel, and so we are. So if people have ideas, we'll try and act on them. You're right, Alibi 58. The late great Dickie Davis, his spirit incarnate in that plane. Just wanted a banner though, didn't it? Plain sailing aviation. Like, subscribe, membership maybe? I don't know, that'd be quite a long banner, wouldn't it, to be fair? And I'm catching up with the chat. So Alexandra, who I'm assuming a Diamond DA62. Oh, from NA. That special place. Michelle's been refreshed. Excellent. Oh, 100 up. Thank you, Alibi, and thank you each and every one of you. And I'm not just, it's not a platitude, I genuinely mean that. When you're down here doing this stuff, you hope it's what people are enjoying, because you're not doing it for any other purpose. And yeah, it's just nice to be able to share the planes with you all in good company in the chat. And anybody that's on the show but not in the chat, well, you're just as welcome. But I'd always say jump into the chat. There's it's plenty warm. I'll stay with this while it's unclipped. I've got to check my power supplies and stuff, haven't I? I mean, it's let's have a look. I shouldn't need to change anything during this show, but I always figure if I get into bad habits on shows like this, it'll bite me on the proverbial backside when I'm doing a longer show and I'm not checking my power. So the plane you are looking at, bound for Alicante. Clanking you can hear is those resupply trucks exiting themselves. Of course, I think we've announced previously, Jet2 have taken their ground ops in-house here at Newcastle. The sharp-eyed amongst you had spotted this. Well, it's too hazy to read it cleanly, but you can work out it's Jet2. Let's take us to a less shimmering distance. This is one that Stephen Marchant's flown. Very good. I think it comes back to, I think it might have been your point earlier in the stream actually, Stephen, about what if we get to see a bit more of the A321neo action as Jet2 take delivery of more and more of those aircraft. They're going to be basing them all in Manchester, I would have thought. And it would be interesting to see at what point they start to transition away from their, let's be honest about it, a lot of the 737 fleet is older than it is young, if I can say it as tactfully as that. I mean, it was a point I was back of my head actually. Ryanair's recently signed a deal, haven't they, for 150 737 MAX 10s. I know the MAX 10's not licensed yet, but they've signed paper on it. The long story short, if I've understood correctly, it's 150 firm and 150 to follow between 2027 and 2034, something in that region. And it's all Ryanair's plans to, obviously, they think they more or less want to double their passenger handling, which is pretty big ambition, but I think they'll also be looking to phase out a lot of their 737 next generation aircraft, given that the fuel costs are sort of 20% more or thereabouts. Fascinating stuff. Thanks Alexandra, confirming Ryanair we have a 737 from Charnia. 12 minutes out, probably a little bit less as I'm always behind the messaging. Thanks Alexandra, keeping me on the straight. Now it's interesting, Aviation Adam tucking in on that same point. They have got an extensive fleet, no plans yet, but when you think about it, the running cost side of it, I know you have to work it out, don't you? Replacing capital equipment comes at cost, day-to-day running's a different thing. As long as we get some 321 action here, I'll be a really happy camper. Tony, that might be some sort of, like, you know, that standing at the back type thing. Yeah, I think I mused on this during the early days of our live streams about, you know, if you could get a Ryanair flight to Dublin standing for £10, would you do it, kind of thing, you know, because you're not on there for long enough, and sometimes on a train you're standing for a comparable distance. Those of you who've ever endured commuter traffic will know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Tony, that would be Project 3000, that one. So, this plane off to Alicante. A nice Spanish evening there to greet everybody. Thunders off down the track, down to the little launch ramp. and up and away. So good afternoon to anybody that has recently joined the show. Welcome to Newcastle International Airport. I'm Mark, your host of Plain Sailing Aviation. We're going to be on air till just about 6 o'clock, so just over an hour left to the show. So hope you've had a good day and thank you for joining us. Silence is me just catching up with the chat. Sometimes I actually forget that I'm supposed to be pointing the camera and showing you some aviation action. So right, thanks Alexandra Wood. I am on tender hooks now for our Ryanair flight. Standing by. Just looking further back up the chat, Michelle Johnson's comment about Malta Air. I do love the Ryanair version that we see at Edinburgh from time to time. I like the livery on both of them, because sometimes I think the Malta Air, get the right way around, they operate a Heathrow route, don't they? So I've definitely seen them on my travels. But I like the one we see at Edinburgh, the Ryanair version. It's a pretty slick livery, I figure. Glickers, welcome back, buddy. So Glickers, you're into Friday now then, buddy. The future is Friday. Weekend is nearly on us. Hopefully few of you are working at the weekend, but of course the world being a 24/7 gig, if you like these days, it's not quite as easy to get weekend time off, is it, as it was once. Anyway, Glickers, how you doing? I was looking at Tony's comment as well about the Flight Radar podcast. Yeah, there's like a weekly newsletter, isn't there, which you can subscribe to, which gives you the link, I think, into the podcasts. Might be other routes into it, but I tend to find the Flight Radar newsletter points me. But yeah, it's a handy source of information. So I'm standing slightly distracted. Got one eye on the airport and the other one at the hedge. At the hedge. Yeah, Michelle, I love watching them on the countdown board. You know, it says 10 metres, 5 metres, 2 metres, stop. I just love that. Much as it was fun to see the guys with the table tennis bats and just going to rotate the camera, steal a few more yards, have a look at gate 3. I'm thinking I could do with like a mirror on a pole here, so I could get a more a sneakier look at what's happening over my shoulder. Don't think we'll do that though. Right, I can hear the plane. Can't be another train, surely. It is. It's both. Happiest coincidences. A squirt of smoke. Yeah, I think the sunshine's retired here now for the day, so it's still a lovely afternoon, but We might get a little bit less, it's still hazy, I can see that, but might get a little less of the hazing now as it starts to cool. That will be nice as it rolls out long. So yeah, I was saying earlier on about these additional 150 737 MAX 10s that apparently Ryanair have touched hands on. I think, I'm not sure, they've got the option on the extra 150, so I'm not sure if it's the 300 planes come to 31 billion at list price, but of course Ryanair won't be paying list price given they are a preferential Boeing customer. But I gather there's been some fairly challenging negotiations, and of course when you're touching hands on a plane that's yet to be certified, there is still a degree of faith involved, even if it's a variant of an existing type that is flying. Anyway, we might as well track back with this for the moment. I think I'll just have a quick refreshment stop. Got a little bottle of water at the side of me, so I'll try not to chug it, folks. Bit of pint of lager, it might have had a less ceremonious time of it. Okay, Alexandra, British Airways Baby Bus 319 pinging, and in fact, Alexandra, you are bang on the money as you always are. Look at that. It's not just pinging, it's moving back. So we'll loiter there for the moment while we await our incoming Loganair from Exeter. You won't be showing now, will it? Oh, I can hear it though. Nice and smooth. Right, let's have a little bit of our shinier incoming Ryanair. And somewhere along the line we're going to trade places with the outgoing British Airways Heathrow flight, the Airbus A319, which is pushed back and is currently being unclipped from its tug. As you see in the foreground, that windsock not looking any different to the start of the show, so you're still around 10 mile an hour, gusts at about an 8.7 knots, gusts at about 12 I think it said, so about 10.5 knots, something in that region. As you'll have seen with the landings, wind's not a factor in today's show. I mean, poor old Michelle down in Essex has got hailstones and thunderous clouds, but I can't be honest, it's one of those days. By the time I get in, I'll need my tea obviously, but if I wasn't quite so late in, it would almost be worth spending an hour in the garden. Not sunbathing, but you know, general tickling of garden. Alibi's weighed in, plane of the day, Scotland's finest. Not this plane obviously, the Embraer 145 that we just watched touch down. It's certainly a livery that exudes class. Okay, Alexandra, cheerfully noted, delayed easyJet from Bristol, 31 minutes out. I reckon that was delayed on last week's show as well, but I could be conflating that with their Belfast flight. Hey ho, the main thing is as long as we get it, delayed Chewy from Manchester, 27 minutes out. That must be a positioning flight, I'm guessing. So the British Airways A319 hasn't turned yet. I'm going to peel off to it as soon as it does, but let's just stay with this Ryanair moment. I love this bit, you know, when ground ops suddenly appear and start doing their thing. Michelle, you're saying they need to splash out and get a let's just go back. Well, I think it sees an awful lot of weather. How they never look frayed and tattered, I'll never know. But yeah, you're right, I think the sun has bleached it a bit. Oh, doors open. Michelle, yes, the KLM used every one of the 15 mile an hour at its disposal as it taxied to stand. I'd have to say it appeared to be the fastest moving taxi I've seen in the show. And at least you've got rid of that the hail of Armageddon that you had, Michelle. It's funny actually, but when I came out of the house to come here, I was just looked up at my guttering because it threw it down last night, and we had some bloke clear the gutters last year. I'm not particularly good on ladders, and it's one of those awkward spots to get anyway, so even if I was anyway, there's a great big piece of blooming turf growing out of it now, and I'm thinking, how's that possible in less than 12 months? Anyway, different problem for a different day. Here's our baby Ross. So folks, this will be, or should be, our next action. So there should be plenty more planes to see before we go off air. I'm thinking about that Chewy 737 being a positioning flight, in which case it's probably extra to the 28 that I figured we were going to get at start of show. There's a nice little 3-in-1 shot there. Those Loganairs, Embraer 145 just moving away in the background. This is just going to turn and go, isn't it? You'll have just got a screen stuck there, folks. That's just me taking a snap, not YouTube or my kit playing as false. David Palfreyman, thank you for your support, my friend. Look forward to meeting up with you next time out. Glad you've enjoyed it. That's what we try and do. And you're right, the mods team are absolutely... Sorry, I was over-talking that a little bit. Absolutely peerless. No disrespect to anybody else. It's not an easy thing to do well. But the team on here make Eddie and myself incredibly proud to be associated with. Saying that, the company in the chat is world class too. And again, you know that's true, folks. You know that's true. Oop, that's Johnny a flight's busy emptying people left, right and centre. Let's go to the front staircase-ish. We're getting too close, but just give us a reasonable view of the tempo. Alexandra advises Air France. I'll tell you what, that's a quick turnaround. I'm not sure how it is in terms of, well, it won't be going earlier, but they've certainly turned it around nice and well. I can see it actually, just so you know what I can see, because it's an interactive experience. There you go, see the tail fin, jaws light, jaws in reverse. It's pushing back. Let's just have a look at Scotland's finest. Just changing our angle. There's an absolute gaggle of ground ops people, so this is going to turn around pretty fast. No, you're right, Michelle. That was I just wanted to catch David before he actually left the stream, but yes, that was poor etiquette on my part. The sound is just to die for. Although, just going back to the earlier point about the Max 10s, then apparently the sound is going to be 50% less. I don't know, that's common on all the Max variants. 50% less than the Boeing 737 next generation. And I know why we have to have quieter planes, but is it wrong to say I'd like them to be a bit noisier? I suppose if you're not living underneath them, it's an easy wish to have, isn't it? So we'll stay with Scotland's finest a bit longer. See if we can get a little bit into the hold. It's just going to be a bit too hazy, isn't it? Let's just rest there. The Air France Embraer 190 returned to Paris. Charles de Gaulle has turned. It's just been disconnected from its tug, and I would expect to start moving imminently, folks. So departure action imminently. So welcome to Plain Sailing Aviation. If you've just joined us and you're not yet in the chat, I'm Mark, your host. Going to be on air till about 6 o'clock, thereabouts. Oh my lord, what's happened here? Michelle, that is incredibly generous. Oh my lord. Michelle, you are such a great friend to the channel. I don't know what to say except a profound thank you on behalf of myself and Eddie. Absolutely fantastic. And I didn't say it earlier of Ryanair, but it's absolutely true. Anything we take through memberships, because there's different ways of supporting the channel, through super chats or both depending on your preferences, the thing is it all goes on to the next trips, the away trips. So Michelle, what can I say except thank you. Words don't sound enough, but yeah, thanks Michelle. We've got some great friends on this channel. Oh crikey, look at that. Mark's got to get a grip of himself. That is the unspoken thing there. Again, beautiful thing, and I won't over talk this one when it starts up, although obviously the Embraers tend to be a little bit quieter. That's the beauty with reverse ops here and 07 departures, how close they come to you. That's the and the other thing I was going to say is, so we might do a Saturday stream as soon as we've worked out where a good slot would be for traffic, but other than that, Edinburgh Monday and Aberdeen Monday tea time, folks. So we'll put out all the details so you don't have to make notes or anything. Dopey up, good afternoon buddy, hope you've had a good day at work and I hope you're keeping well. And I suppose as well, I think about it, hope the weather's decent in the northwest. If you've got an evening like this, you're doing okay-ish. Well, better than okay, actually. Nell, welcome back. Just spotted your entry into the chat. Hope the rest of the day passed as well as it can. Hope you've had a good day. Just in time to see this Embraer 190 standard depart for Paris Charles de Gaulle, courtesy of Air France Hop. And veterans of last week's show will remember the returning flight that was the TUI 737 to Gran Canaria. I'm sure Alexander's probably called that because I'm generally behind the game at every turn. I've just seen that turn to see the tail fin. There's Donaldson, incredibly generous. Oh dearie me, team. Rehydration, Les, you're a card. Les, thank you so much, mate. Awesome support, and again, you're another great friend to the channel. We're very blessed with the friends that we have, there's no question. Thank you. Michelle, that is plenty. More's not a thing. Plenty. We're so grateful. Myself, Les, Ryanair and others on other shows. You know, this channel is, well, it adds up to more than the sum of its parts, really. You know, we've just got great support across the piece. Lots of people that are members. We just get great audiences. It's yeah, I've said before, it's incredibly motivational. Eddie and I like to bring the best we possibly can for you. Let's just put that to you. Reminds me, I've got something to tell you once we've waved this one off, or Eddie will slaughter me. Did you get a wave there? That looked like a wave. I don't know if I'm... As I was saying, I've got something that Eddie will slaughter me if I don't say, so I'll do that in a minute, but I was just mindful to pull his leg when I see him later. I'm going to say Nell and Dopey Gorp have both managed to get into the chat, having finished hard slogs at work. And I don't think Eddie was in the chat last I looked. He'll appreciate that. It's the kind of thing only a dad could get away with saying. Yeah, what was I going to say? Oh, I know what it was. I've got a... We're going to put this... So there's going to be some comms out about the Edinburgh and Aberdeen streams on Monday. We pre-announced those to members a few days ago. We've got another membership post that we're going to put out. So, here's the Gran Canaria 737. So we're going to be putting out another note. So this is more for Executive Lounge, I suppose. There's Eddie did our first behind the scenes type trip vid. I don't know if there's a better way of describing it, with a GoPro camera when we went Dublin a few weeks ago. We've just about finished the edit on it, and therefore that will be available to Executive Lounge members quite soon, because obviously we want to make sure that we are giving you value for that particular category of membership. So look out for that. And in terms of the Facebook page, because I know there is, I think Michelle, you tried to join it. My understanding is it should all be there, so if anybody's got problems joining Facebook, our Facebook, if you could email us at plane.sailing.aviation, because essentially we'll accept you as friends or whatever the protocol is. Eddie keeps me straight on that one when we get the invite request. But Facebook though is executive lounge membership rather than executive and aviator class, because again with the two different price points we've got to make sure that we've got something that was distinct and different between the two tiers. Well, we'll put a post out summarising some of that. Simon has confirmed that was a wave. Excellent stuff. That's your mate Charlie de Gaulle. I thought to myself that looked like a wave. So unaccustomed am I to getting a wave, I thought nah, maybe it was a glint of sunshine off the viewfinder. How cool is that? I'm a very friendly pilot. So this is the plane that had to return last week, or certainly the flight that had to return from Gran Canaria. I don't suppose it's the same plane, but I don't know. Okay, where should we rest up? Let's rest up here. Yeah, I'm just looking at Simon's comment. I mean, I'm guessing things are still a bit lumpy in Paris. Just looking at Alexandra Wood's comment about the incoming Manchester flight, which, as I say, I'm assuming is a positioning flight. Must be pretty imminent. But yeah, I'm guessing things are still a bit lively out there, because I had promised Mrs. Plain Sailing Aviation a romantic Parisian weekend. But then obviously things got a bit tasty out there, so we thought, maybe it's not now. So, yeah, I'm just about to peel away to oncoming Chewy. A bit of a monster to pick out there with the sun dropping behind, and obviously the Chewy livery sits well against the sky. There's a wobble on, less of that. So, like I say, I'm assuming this is positioning rather than a bus stop. So last 45 minutes or so of the show, and 40 minutes or thereabouts. So I hope folks are enjoying themselves. Certainly from my end, I'm enjoying your company. So welcome to Plain Sailing Aviation. Yeah, Eddie is all about the Spanish trips, to be fair, Simon. He's definitely that. Let's have a look, see what's occurring. Alexandra Wood delays easyJet from Bristol, 6 minutes out. I better stay lively to that. I think it would be a little bit like last week actually, where with a couple of the delays filling in the slots at the back end, we should be good for continuity right till the end of the show. That'd be nice. Miss Landia, I don't know if I'm the mark with the railway child, I'm intrigued. Or whether I'm a different mark, I don't know. Happy days. Keep my eye out. I'm fated to miss it. It's happened to me twice now for different reasons. The Chewy with the Robinson livery on it. It's been through here a couple of times, and both times I'd been packed up and hadn't appreciated that's what was coming in. Always pays to check the finer details of flight radar. That was the lesson I learned. So we'll trundle up. This is no way, this is definitely a more restrained pace, isn't it, than the KLM incomer. If I got the means of putting them side by side, I'd let you, the audience, judge. Ewan, hello my friend, welcome back to the show. How are you doing? Confirms it's a positioning flight. Roger that, my friend. Can't remember you and whether you caught any of our stream from Edinburgh at the weekend, but you were asking about winglets and sharklets and so forth on our last Thursday tea time stream. We actually did a poll, an in-show poll on asking people their favourite type, sharklets, sweetbacks, wingtip, fence and so forth. Sharklets won the day. Oh, and skimmiters as well. I forgot. But anyway, by the by, it all started from your questions around the Ryanair. Good to see your comment. You're doing well. Excellent. The orange blue one, you're not talking about that blinking orange Pride triple, are you? That Dopey Gorp torments me with on a weekly basis. And Eddie, I swear he's lining up to gift me a model of it. Alan Reed, hello my friend, welcome to Plain Sailing Aviation. Can't remember if we've said hi, but I'm Mark, your host. Pleasure to be in your company, Alan. Oh, it's your local airport, even the better. Well, the thing about planes, I think it's once it's in your blood, it doesn't move, does it? I think that's a great thing about enjoying aviation. Right, I've got a feeling there must be a plane about to drop over my shoulder. Alexandra's comment tells me that. easyJet on finals. Can't hear it. I can't see it through the bushes. Never a cool look, is it, lurking through the bushes? Terry M, good afternoon Terry M, welcome to the show. Sorry, I must have missed your initial entry. So thank you very much for subscribing and liking. Both of those things help us massively, my friend. So thank you so much for your support. Yeah, I thought I could hear something. So this delayed incoming flight from Bristol. Sorry folks, I'm just checking batteries. Like I was saying, half an hour, or maybe even an hour, you know, my management of time is appalling. Consumption rates have been pretty good, so I'm not expecting to have to change anything between now and end of show, which is a real luxury. But best to be certain, as they say. Thank you Dopey Gorp, exactly that. If folks who haven't yet hit the like button, if you like what you see, you've enjoying the show, please do give us that. It helps us so much with YouTube, as does subscription as well, and the beauty is neither cost you anything. For those who are interested in supporting us in different ways, we do have memberships, but easier to go onto our YouTube about page and you can get the details there, or beneath the chat window there's like a $sign. You can click on that without obligation and it will tell you some more. You'll know what's right for you. The main thing is you're choosing to watch our channel, and for that we say a hearty thanks. Ooh, Dopey Gorp, excellent. Yeah, I've just seen your emojis chat as well. You've given them all an outing. Eddie would be delighted. Phil Tovey, welcome back to the show, Phil. I hope you're keeping well. Okay, Alexandra, so looks like in terms of incoming it's quiet. I've got a feeling there's a Ryanair departure shaping up in the foreground, unless I'm misreading these signs. And I've got a feeling the Loganair goes out before show's end as well. I'll just consult. Either which way, I think there's a 737. I think it could be Dublin. Let's just... This is the one I think is likely to be moving shortly. I'll pick that taxiing A320 up in a minute when it's a little bit less hazed. So, last half hour of the show, folks. Amazing how fast the time goes. I'm definitely fancying a spot of tea though. As always, I'm hungry. We'll say, when has Mark ever done a show without reporting being hungry? Very stupidly, I came out without any snack bars, so whereas I seem to have an abundance of drinking water. Let's just rotate onto this Loganair plane for the moment. So Friday tomorrow. Oh, for Glickers it's Friday now, but yeah, you're right, Michelle, that sock doesn't, it's not easyJet orange, is it? In this day and age, I'm almost surprised that you don't see sponsors' logos on windsocks. You know, with the proliferation of YouTube aviation channels, particularly at the bigger airports. Where's this one going? Gate 1? Nope, turning in here. Gate 5. Right, we'll stay with this for the moment. As deboarding this appears to be the most immediate action when we get onto the countdown board. I'm thinking not. It may be, Dopey Gorp, that actually Eddie's had a word with Mrs. Plain Sailing Aviation and they're just removed from my line of sight, because Eddie always rolls his eyes once I'm chomping away on my snack bar of choice. Let's get right in. I'm a little bit limited by haze here, folks, but so yeah, the Ryanair plane that I believe is next to go is off to Krakow, due to go out at 20 to 6. So, as I suspect, it's going to move quick. The stairs have been removed, so I genuinely think it's a matter of minutes before it pushes back. In the foreground, we've got the ever hard-working ops team at it from all angles, by the look of it. KLM should be moving imminently. They were due out at 5:30, and our ATR 72, which I'd forgotten about actually, that was due out at 5:20. So we have got, we should have a busy 25 minutes till the end of the show, folks. Well, by regional airport standards anyway. No, I think it's pretty much the same, if I'm honest. I don't know if it's moved around a few more degrees, but yeah, I think it's generally the same kind of wind strength. You're beetling along at around 10 mile an hour, constant, 8.7 knots. It was forecast at gusts at 12, which would be just over 10 knots. Feels like pretty much the same, if I'm honest. And I don't think we've got wind forecast tomorrow either, so I don't think the wind strength is likely to appreciate in the back end of the show. I think the main thing is I'm quite keen if we could keep hold of reverse ops here. Like I say, I'm kind of minded towards the Saturday show if we can find the right parcel of traffic for you all. Oh, Les, you've got a weekend off. Excellent, my friend. Hope the weather's going to be good for you. And of course that retirement countdown clock ticks on. I mean, it's one of those things. I'll be retired 6 months next month, and I'm saying to Mrs. Plain Sailing Aviation, where did that come from? Of course, you don't want your life to go by quite as quickly as that, but you know what I mean. It's a bit like how fast Christmas comes around, or summer holidays or stuff. There we go, some busy deboarding from Bristol. Definitely one of these flights I am going to catch. I've said previously, if I can just get the right price on this, I'm going to do a there and back stream from Bristol. But you just want a decent price on the ticket. Thanks, Alexandra. I will watch out for the Aer Lingus ATR 72 pinging, so stand by, members, with your turboprop emojis. You're going to get a chance to give them a twirling. Just looking there, Les, his advice, we've got a Turkish 321. Yeah, I think that'll probably run behind my position, Les. I'll keep, oh, hang on a minute, the sun slap bang there. I'll keep an eye on it. We might get a chance of looking at it. Pushing back on the Aer Lingus at the minute. There's a passenger sky, which I see it. I should be able to zoom to it reasonably well before the sun kind of obliterates the view. So the plane you're looking at, the A320 from Bristol, still busy deboarding, so that must have been a pretty busy flight, I'm thinking. Aer Lingus are pushing back with their ATR 72, and Ryanair, I suspect, are imminent to push back with their 737 to Krakow, and I would anticipate that KLM are also imminent to push back, folks. And if I'm not mistaken, I can hear the notes of a helicopter strumming away. I would guess at this time of day it's more likely to be the police helicopter, if anything, so I'll keep an eye out to 3 o'clock to where I'm facing at the minute. Keep an eye out for Les's Turkish 321 that is just passing Bellingham at the minute. Thanks, Alexandra. Ryanair from Malaga, 26 minutes out, currently over Barnsley. We will stick on for that. If it's kind of in that 5-10 minutes after shows advertised close, we'll not leave anything on the table. Be rude, wouldn't it, really? Although they could just put a little bit more pedal on the metal to finish dead on the hour, that would be nice. I suppose I've got to get flight radar ready, haven't I? So if I do see the A321 coming over, I can go to it. Just looking to see where the Aer Lingus plane is. It's KLM must be pinging because they've turned, and I can see a fast jet blasting past as well. Oh no, I've gone further south. Ignore me. Well, don't ignore me entirely, please watch me, but you know what I mean. Right, can I see any high-flying Airbus 321s? Oh, not really. It's kind of pinging where I thought I'd be able to see it. Let me just move the camera a moment for you. We nearly took ourselves down to Teesside actually. On Monday night there was an A330 through there. We thought we'd film it and just include it in a future show as a, you know, an extra piece of interest. But the weather forecast was just pants on Monday. It really was. Yeah, it looks like, Les, it looks like it's deviating from me, doesn't it? The Turkish Airlines plane. Hey ho, we'll make do with the Jolly Green Giant's lawnmower in the meantime. That looks like it's going to start coming our way now. Yep. Hopefully you'll hear the engine noise picking up. So in the foreground you've got this tail fin. In fact, the plane's revealing itself. You'll see KLM in the background. See that KLM tail fin? to Belfast, and I see that emoji is getting a good old caning. Excellent stuff. And you see KLM in the background, just getting ready to line up. So last 20 minutes or so of the show, folks. Where did the time go? I'd say so, Nell. Lovely view. In fact, talking of lovely views, check this one out. See that sun across it. Rush hour queue at Newcastle. So this is your next action, folks. 2 departs, one to Belfast in the foreground and the one behind to Amsterdam. So quick question to the mod team, how are we looking on the likes count? Just keeping me in the loop. I've just realised again that I keep looking down and wondering why it's stuck on 13, and that's not really shoving into my thick skull that it always sticks. Ooh, see what kind of... Yeah, screeching tyres, Les, indeed. I'm just going to take a quick snap of it, folks, so sorry about the screen stutter. Just the one. That's pretty artful, isn't it, as a view? Not the camera work, I just mean the actual plane with the tower, and just lovely. Pretty majestic. See Ryanair pushing back, so let's have a piece of that. Alright, that's interesting, Ewan. I gather it's been pretty choppy in Funchal, as it can be. It's a real bummer, isn't it, though, if you're on that plane, so to speak. It's always a bit of a calculated risk. I think I've said on a previous show we had to stop at Porto Santos once, but barely for an hour or more. It was only then that I came to understand that it's the nature of Funchal and all the rest of it. I mean, I think everybody knows it's a difficult airport, well, you know, from a pilot's perspective. Okay, so this is the Krakow flight, I think. Oh no, it can't be the Krakow flight, is it? Oh, it must be. For some reason I must have transposed this. I thought the plane at plane gate 4, which I think is imminent to push back, was for Krakow, but I hope this is the only one transponding. Don't pick up, pack it up. Michelle's already mentioned the orange and blue plane. If one of the mods could open up Les's message, I've got the same problem I had on Saturday where I'm not able to release, the message is held for review, I just can't make it open from the tablet. So if somebody could help me out with that. And the light count, so where did we say? I think Alexandra said 132, Dopey Gorp had got 134. Be nice if we could close at 150, folks, if there's any of you, but 16 of you left in the show without having yet considered whether to confer a like or not. We definitely try our best for you. If you enjoy it, of course, that's the reason to hit the like button. Simple as. Alibi, you're going to have to keep a grip of things for me. Thanks, Alexandra. I can tell you Mark can't handle it, that's true. I keep pressing the button and nothing happens. So, last phase of the show, folks. Where did the time go? So, still got a few more planes to show you, including this departure, which I believe is going to Krakow. I think we may still have a couple of arrivals. Oh, that's right, the plane I thought was going to Krakow was in fact Alicante. So a couple of Ryanair departures shaping up, and then we'll see what's left on the table. Because we've also got the Malaga flight, so a bit of a Ryanair flourish back end of the show. That's a small number of minutes out. So I kind of figure we're going to be something a bit like a couple of departures and one arrival. Say take the cards as they're played, so here we go. First up, Krakow. The sounds of that helicopter that I thought was twirling in the background seems to have abated, so I'm guessing that must have been an engineer startup of sorts. Didn't run for very long. most definitely a chopper. Yep, the Alicante flight is pushing back at the minute. It's all falling into place. You're on the neck. Just keep it up with flow, folks. Critical Bias, you are so generous and such a great friend to the show. Thank you so much for your kind support, buddy. Really appreciated. You are, well, as with other friends of the show, a perennially good friend. I don't know what else to say but thanks. Up a little bit. Alibi says 10 to 150. Ooh, feels like we're on the cusp of something. David Galt just confirming Leslie's post has been approved. Very good. Alexandra, Ryanair from Malaga, 10 minutes out. That's probably going to be our last landing of the show, I figure. Michelle's had her like button taken off her previously by YouTube. Oh my lord. I think I was saying about this behind the scenes footage we've got for Executive Lounge members that's coming up soon. Eddie's got some royalty free music in the background, and we've uploaded it onto YouTube, and YouTube's told us it's infringed the copyright, so Eddie's pulling his hair out with that one because it clearly says royalty free. So yeah, the vagaries of YouTube, eh? This one off, and the Alicante Ryanair is just about to work its way forward to take its lining up position. Loganair pushing back. So I'm fairly certain Simon Kirby, Mr. Alicante, is not flying this exact plane. He may be on a day off. Or it could be a she actually. Forget about it. Right, Malaga's imminent. So thanks Alexandra. I am I'll peel away as soon as I see a sign there's something to lock onto. Check me out, lock onto. And we have an easyJet inbound as well behind that, so we probably are going to run a little bit over 6, but that's because the action's here. That is the first whiff of rubber I've had in the entire show. The wind is definitely moving around a bit. Not a lot, but a bit. Next to go. I've had a Cante bound flight. And then we'll pull away because easyJet are on finals. Sound you might have picked up in the background is Loganair's Embraer 145 just turning. We'll go straight to that in a jiffy, folks. I'm not sure where it's bound for. Exeter or Southampton will be my punt. There we go. As advertised. So they will have to peel away as soon as the incoming Belfast flight comes into shots. Political bias, have a good evening my friend, I've just got to your message. Thank you again so much for your generous donation to the channel. Incredibly kind mate, and look forward to catching you next time out. Rest up on Scotland's finest as it waits its turn. Another one that looks good in that spring sunshine, isn't it? Kind of favours the white fuselages or the lighter blue ones. Southampton, I'm just checking for myself because I tend to get a bit confused. Okay, stretching, looking fervently to see where this easyJet's got to. It's going to come whistling out of nowhere any minute for sure. So I reckon the last two planes of the show will be the incoming easyJet. So I've just had to blow my booter. Right, I'm going to pump off that straight to the Loganair. Take advantage of this position while we've got it. Reverse ops not being the prevailing direction here. Imagine this going to go up pretty sharpish. Okay folks, I reckon that is probably going to be the last plane of the show. I suppose we better do our quick due diligence before we wind things down though, because I have form, don't I? So. No problem, sorry if I've missed your exit, but listen, thank you for your support, it's awesome. I mean, there's no question, trial from Dopey Gorp are doing, going to work, coming and joining the stream late on, fantastic. So have a great evening. Thanks. Michael Maloney. Do I ever see any British BAE 146s flying? I haven't seen one for years. For me, that would be a no. More widely in the chat, I don't know if anyone ever sees that type in action. Just pop the camera here. This easyJet's not hanging about it particularly. Thanks Alexandra Wood. 4 likes to the 150 folks, so we'll just park this plane up, check we're not, oh hang on a minute, we've got an easyJet turned, I'm sure that's been called in the chat, sorry like Alexandra. This speedy easyJet's catching me out. So the final plane of the show is actually, I think, the one that is, not this one, it'll be another easyJet. Presumably the outgoing Bristol flight, I'm thinking. Yeah, so we're going to have we'll track in with this incoming Belfast plane, but we have one more to show you. Oh, Simon's question, exactly as Alibi's just answered. Oh, Doris, thank you so much. Thank you one and all. 150 up. Excellent. Thank you so much. That it means so much, and like I say, it helps us with YouTube. I can't pretend I really understand how it all works from an algorithmic point of view, except the basic maths that says bigger numbers are better. So thank you so much, folks. Oh, I'm liking that alibi. Phil Tovey, have a great evening and thank you for joining us. Really appreciate your company and look forward to catching you next time out. So we are literally, everything is rather, this plane which wants to park up can't, because it's currently awaiting this plane to come out and line up. So this is the final plane of the show, folks. Here we go, on its way out. Leo, I don't think I've said hi this afternoon, Leo. Hi. Thanks for joining us, my friend. Oh right, Michelle Johnson, so let's just, for the avoidance of doubt, the next definite show, and we'll put all the stuff out for this, is going to be Monday from Edinburgh. It'll be 7:45 in the morning through till around lunchtime. And mainly with the start time, it's all about catching the transatlantic incomers, because I think the New York flight and probably the Chicago one are due in before 8:30. And then we're off up further to Aberdeen, so it's morning in Edinburgh next Monday, and tea time, i.e. 3 o'clock through till 7 o'clock, we will be live to you from Aberdeen Airport. We will put it out in a community post. And then the following day, if all goes well, we hope to stream from Glasgow. That'll be Tuesday. We might end up going with the Edinburgh option. It will just depend which offers the best action. This is quite a nice shot. 2 into 1. But folks, and this is the bit where I was trying to think how to say this without misleading, I'm hoping to do a Saturday show from Newcastle, but that is entirely dependent on finding the right concentration of traffic, because obviously I want to be able to bring you consecutive action and not lots of long gaps or anything. So we will put a community post out Friday night, if not Thursday night possibly. But that's the night, isn't it? Friday, during the course of Friday, get a grip, Mark, I will put a community post out which covers all of the things I've just said. I'm pretty excited about Aberdeen, to be honest. Not been to Aberdeen before in any capacity, so that would be great. And from a plane's point of view, weather forecast, as far as you can tell, looks pretty good. Well, it's not going to rain, so I'll take that as pretty good. So you're looking at the final plane of the show, folks, the return flight to Bristol. No worries, Joe Pidgeot. hopefully you'll be able to catch them as you have time. Well, if you have time on catch up. So I didn't say that quite right, did I? Life first always, mate. Life first always. That's a fair old journey for you. I would say going west to east is a bit more cumbersome. I hope you have an event-free journey. Amazing, isn't it, how fast the noise tails off. Even though the wind is basically running in our direction. So there you go, folks. Final plane of the show. I'll just do my usual end of show piece to camera, in case you're wondering why I'm zooming out. Just realised I've probably not thought about this with the sun beating at me. Hey ho, just get the cap in the right place. So, thank you everybody. Thanks for some awesome support in today's show. But first and foremost, I just want to thank our moderators, because the time they give freely to support the chat and the show is just peerless. So, Alibi58, Alexandra Wood, Nell W and Dopey Gort, both of whom have interspersed work with being in the stream. Thank you one and all. It doesn't run the same without you, it's as simple as that. In terms of super chat donations, I always make notes now so I don't forget, because of this thing tends to be, doesn't give me all of it. So Ryanair, thank you so much. Michelle Johnson, thank you so much, Michelle. Les Donaldson, thank you. And also Political Bias, all four of you staunch friends of the show, and it really is appreciated by Eddie and myself. So this is your Thursday afternoon tea time show come to an end. I hope you have a great evening. I will put a community post out tomorrow just confirming the stuff that I said a few minutes ago about the next shows. So Edinburgh Monday is a definite, Aberdeen Monday is a definite, Tuesday could be Glasgow or Edinburgh, and there is the potential for a show on Saturday. So lots to look forward to. Forecast looks like it's going to be fair with us. So thank you everybody for some great support, and do take care. Look forward to seeing you soon. Bye now.